Welcome to Digital Literacy Workshop. This is Discovering New Things in Discovery Education, and I actually did the webinar yesterday afternoon and I forgot to hit record, so I'm going to record another version so I'll have something to archive for those of you who weren't able to attend. Okay, as always, there are collaborative notes available, and in the archive where you'll probably access this video, you'll see a link to the notes. There's also a link with a shortened URL right here where you can go to the notes and follow along or get the resources you need for later on. And we'll take a look at those notes in a minute. And since we're not actually on a GoToMeeting, I'm going to skip this slide. I'm going to try to remember some of the questions that were asked yesterday and share those as we go. So the learning targets for the session today are to explore the resources available through Discovery Education streaming. And I wanted to remind everybody that we have a contest going on right now. We are creating a shared presentation in Google Docs, and all you have to do is create one slide for our presentation talking about a celebration of learning, and you'll be entered into a drawing for this very cool little Keurig brewing system. And that drawing is going to be at next week's Digital Literacy Workshop webinar. So make sure that you get your slide done by then so that you can be part of this contest. And just to share a little bit, in the notes slides, and I've also sent this by email, you'll have a link to the presentation, and it's a collaborative presentation. So if you're logged into your Google Apps for Education account, you can get in and add a slide, and this takes you through the steps of how to do it. And if you still need more help, there are little videos down here that give you a little more help. Here's a couple of examples of what teachers have done. This is Emily Checketts at Washington, and she's showing celebration of learning. They're learning about behavior. And then Robert Hand at the high school is showing his creative foods class and some of the very creative things they've done with food. And then this is Nancy Colson's physical science class, and she actually was able to put a video in here showing her kids modeling transverse waves. So there's lots of different things you can do. It's very simple to do. We have probably about 15 so far. So please make sure that you enter your celebration of learning. I know there's a lot going on, and it's worth sharing. Okay, so at the end of this session, in order to get clock hours, you need to fill out the reflection form, and the link's here. It's also in the notes that I will share on the archive. And our next digital literacy workshop that will be coming up next Monday, December 9th, I'm going to be showing you how to create a teacher blog and get one set up for use. I've talked a lot about blogging with kids, but I'm going to show some examples of how teachers can use blogging, not only just to communicate with their students, but also to reflect on their own practice and to pose questions and share what they're learning with other teachers or other people as well. So that's going to be next week. Of course, you can use it for whatever you want. So you're going to learn the techniques, but also get some ideas of how teachers are using it. So I hope you can join us next week. Okay, so I'm going to jump into our Discovery streaming education stuff. We've had Discovery streaming for quite a while, but not everyone has been involved in using it. And so I want to show you some of the things that you can do with Discovery streaming. A little confused right now because my Discovery streaming went away, but all right. So I'm going to move this over here. Currently I'm logged in as another teacher. Mine looks a little bit different, so I wanted you to see it from another teacher. And you'll notice when you log in to Discovery streaming, and I'm going to go back here because I just forgot something. First of all, if you are new to Discovery Streaming, in our district we have a Discovery Streaming Plus, and it's really great and it's worth having an account for. So the way that you do that if you're new to that is you go to discoveryeducation.com and you're going to use a passcode to start setting up your account. And so the passcodes are in the notes. And now I'm going to move over here to this one. Okay, so I've logged in as this teacher, and this is what you would see when you log in. And so they've got some great help here about just what is in Discovery Streaming Plus, and some ideas about how to get started. You'll see there's a calendar here, so every day there's an on this day. A lot of times there's a video connected with it. You'll see this is science, but I can pick another topic on this day in math. It's a birth date of John von Neumann, mathematician. So you can pick different things there. Frederick Douglass publishes North Star. So that's a kind of fun thing to follow. You can also view the full calendar, so if you wanted to do any planning on that, you could. There are all these things over here to take a look at that are helps and guides. This is a really important one as you're getting started, so the help guides. You can see the most popular videos for the week. Last time I popped on this, it had a lot of Thanksgiving stuff. It still does. There's also blogs. So these are people who are involved in the Discovery Educator Network who are sharing different blogs. So this is a great way to get ideas for how to use Discovery Streaming and other ed tech tools. There's also a lot of events, and so they have a lot of webinars that you can attend, and other events too, but the main thing is webinars. And if you can't attend them, which is often the case because they're based on the East Coast, and sometimes their webinars take place while we're busy teaching during the day. But if you can't, you can go to the archived and you can grab any of those and watch those as well. Okay, so the other thing, and I'm kind of going backwards on this, but you don't know that because you didn't get to see the other one. So Discovery Educator Network, this is not part of our service, but this is a very wonderful group of teachers who do a lot to share, not just Discovery Education, but just great teaching practice, and they've got all kinds of things to support teachers. So in here you can, ask questions, you can get ideas for lesson plans. There's if you are part of the Discovery Educator Network and you apply to become a STAR educator, STAR educators just basically you share what you're doing with somebody else and you report that to other people. It's really simple to do. There's instructions of how to do that. But if you're a STAR, you can, I'll click on here where it says benefits of being a STAR. So you get some weekly updates. You have access to a blog. Of course, we have blogs you have access to here too, but just so you know, all these great instructional resources. And then the really great thing is the Discovery events. And so some of them are things like they have a geocaching day every year, and then they have these Verticon things. And this year I went to a Dinapalooza. They also have some national institutes. I've been to Berkeley and to Washington, D.C. for these national institutes. So they do different things. I've also been invited to, sometimes it's the Discovery things. So like the Deadliest Catch, I got to meet the members of the Deadliest Catch. And then another cool thing that they do is they have different things where they give you stuff. So they'll send you little incentives and thank yous, or access to different memberships for different subscriptions to different products and things like that. So it's a good thing to check into to be a STAR educator. Okay, so all that said, let's move on to the actual, I'm going to grab my notes here, to the actual Discovery Streaming stuff. So now we're in, and most of us know that we can go here and we can search for something and we'll be able to find lots of videos. That's what we think of with Discovery Streaming Education. But there's so much more. So I wanted just to show you over here. So I always search sharks when I'm demoing for some reason. But if I look over here, I can see that that's my only service. So I've got Discovery Streaming. And then I can pick by subject. So I can go down like that by grade level. And then by media type. So you'll notice if I click down here, there's what they call these builder boards, which I'll show you, clip art that you can use, video, images, video segments. There's audio, which could be like a sound effect or a speech, probably not a speech from a shark, songs. There's reading passages. There's encyclopedia articles. There's a game. There's some different activities, presentations, and there's even some quizzes. So all of that's right there. You can pick which language, and so if I look for sharks, I'll see that there's 15 videos in Spanish, one in Arabic, one in Chinese, so that's something interesting to know. You can pick by type of video, so if you want a video that has closed captioning, or if you want a video that you or your students can take and edit. So maybe you want the video, but you want your kids to do sound over, or something. There's all kind of cool things you can do with that. So you can decide, you can look for videos that way. A lot of the videos have teacher guides with them. And you can even pick by where the content came from. So that's good to know. The other thing that you can do is if you find something that you like, this little down arrow here gives you some options. So you can add it to your content, and I'll show you that in a minute. You can assign it to your classrooms and students, or you can use it in one of the builder tools. So we'll talk about those different things in a minute. I'm going to click on my content up here and show you that in my content folder, you can create your own folders, and then you can decide. So you can create, however you want to organize your folders. This is not my folder, so I can't talk on them very much. But one thing I wanted to show you. So this teacher is using writing prompts with her students, and so she's creating things and she's putting them in this folder. Here's a writing prompt and that she's created. Now this is her writing prompt, but if she chooses, she can also share that writing prompt with her school and with the district. So if I click on my district here, you'll see that these are all things that I've actually created, and I've shared with the district. And so any teacher that wants to jump in here, they can see the things that I've found for 6th grade social studies and jump right in there and use those. So that's a good thing to know, that you can find things and share things, so you can collaborate on that. The other thing is the builder tools. So you'll notice that there's an assignment builder, and in the assignment builder you can basically, and I'm going to see if there's, I'm just going to click on. So this is just an example of a close reading activity. Okay, I haven't seen it, but I'm going to click on edit first so you can see what it looks like. Here. So an assignment, you can put it, you choose which grade level and which subject, and then it will ask you, it will ask you, and you can set up, you can say, go to this video, do this, read this thing. You can throw in writing prompts, all kinds of things. So it helps you to build a whole assignment. If you go to the quiz builder, you can actually build quizzes that you assign to your students. And the writing prompt builder gives you writing prompts. So I'm going to go back to my content here and show you this teacher's writing prompt. Okay. So this teacher is actually trying to model something that is on the SBAC test that's coming up, the Smarter Balance test. And so there are 2 videos on Pioneers, and the students are asked to watch both of these videos and then compare what's happening in both, and describe why it was difficult for Pioneers traveling west, and they have to include videos from both, include details from both of the videos. So they were able to build this in Discovery Streaming, and if they wanted to assign it, they can assign it to their students, and I'll show you how that works in a minute. If we go to Classroom Manager here, you'll see in Classroom Manager you have the ability to create a class. And so this teacher has created a reading class. And the way that they did that is when you're logged in, you will be able to see all of the students at your school, and you can narrow it down by grade level, and then you can just choose the students that you want to be in your class. So it's fairly simple to do. If you've got a student that for some reason isn't in the list of students that's already been populated, you can add them. What we're using for students is their network login and their student ID for their password. So you can add that in manually too, but it's mainly been done for you. So that's the Classroom Manager. And then once you have that, and you have your list of students and they're turning things in, you can actually take a look at a student's work that they've turned in, and you can grade it and all kinds of fun things like that. If it's a quiz, it's self-grading. I'm going to just click on a student here so you can see what it looks like to log in as a student. And this is something I can do as a teacher, so if I want to make sure what I'm doing looks right. So when you log in as a student, it says hide, their name, and it gives them just some things that they can do in Discovery, so they don't have to have direction from teachers. They can just go in and look on their own, do their own research, learn what they want to learn about. But teachers also have the ability to add assignments, and this can be from multiple teachers. In this case, it's just one teacher who has added a couple of assignments. So here's a couple of different writing prompts that this teacher has added, and you'll notice that the student has already submitted those writing prompts, so they'll see that there. But this is a great way to push that content to your students. Maybe you've got a couple of computers in your classroom, or maybe you don't, and they're going to have to do it in a lab or something like that without you. You can assign the stuff and build the lesson, and then they can take a look at it right here and do it right online. So this is an example of what a writing prompt would look like for a student. So they would see this was an article, so the student read, they had an article to read, and then they had some writing to do. All right. So I am going to go back here, and I'm going to now log out as this teacher and log in as me. Get to my little safe space. The other thing I wanted to mention about being a STAR teacher, another perk this year, is if our district didn't pay for the Streaming Plus, which is really wonderful, it's got a lot more to it than just this regular streaming. If you were a Discovery Educator Network STAR, a DEN STAR, you would get Streaming Plus with that for free, but our district already pays for that. And this year they have a science textbook that, of course, they're trying to sell to schools, but for the Discovery STAR people, you have access to that science textbook this year. So that's another nice little perk for being a Discovery STAR. And it's different every year. Like next year, they might not have the same incentives, but they will have incentives. Okay, I wanted to show you this is something new this year, this board builder. So it looks a lot like Glogster, and you can add media files to a board. This would be a nice way to pull together an assignment and share it with your students. This is one I was just kind of playing with. So what you can do is you can go in here and you can add stuff. So if I come down here, you'll see, actually I need to do another one because this one has, let's see if I can click edit. There we go. So I can add files here. I can add, right now I have media, but if I wanted to add another piece of media, I can click there and I can find a video that I want to put in here. So I can go to search, or if I already have it in my content. So this is about community helpers, but I'll search for sharks just for fun. So then anything that I wanted to put in here, then I would just click add that selected resource and it would pop up. And you can add text, you can add all kinds of different kinds of files here. So if you wanted your students to access a graph or a writing passage or something like that, you could put that in there. And then you end up with this board, and my board doesn't look very pretty right now, but you can see, and the students can do this as well. So this could be an assignment that they create talking about pioneers or whatever. And then as a teacher, you can assign it. So if you create this as something you want your students to interact with, you could click assign here, and then you pick the class, the date that you want them to do this and the class, and then you can assign it. And you'll see that I only have one student in this class. It's actually my dog. But if you had more students, you could assign different things to different students. And you've already seen how the students would log in and they would see those assignments. Okay, so that's the builder board. The other thing I wanted to show you that's new this year, if I go to My DE Services and I click on Streaming Plus, I've got my library here with all of my videos and images and interactives and all that kind of wonderful stuff. But if I click here on Common Core in the classroom, they are aligning and creating resources based on the Common Core standards. So if I click on a grade level here and I'm in English Language Arts, and I can just click the standard, and what it'll do is it will give me, in some cases, a model lesson. And so it goes through a whole process of how I could teach that particular lesson. It shows me what the standards are. It goes step by step through the process. It shows what kind of media you can use with the process and the resources. And then this is the media, some media that can go along with that particular standard that can help you teach that standard. And there's even a quiz on a check for understanding for that particular standard. So that's a nice tool, and it's being built. So as you take a look at the standards, you might find that you find one that doesn't have as much stuff in it, or you might start seeing just a lot of information. So it's really nice way just to get some ideas for how to teach the standards, and then also just that they already have these resources packaged for you so that you can just pull those out and use those. You can use those a lot of time with a projector in your class as a part of a teaching lesson, but then also you can also assign these things to students and they can go in on their own and do the activities. All right, and one more thing I think I'm going, I know a couple more things. I'm probably going along here, but a couple more things I want to share with you. So again, if I search for sharks, I should search for something besides sharks, but if I search for sharks and I find a video that I want on sharks, you'll see that that first one that I clicked on is like they've already selected a bunch of different things about sharks. So they've already kind of created this digital media kit for you. So they've got stuff on sharks, they've got images on sharks and things like the encyclopedia articles and videos. That's not true for everything, but let's just try another one. So let's say if I search for Lincoln, and So for that, they just have videos. But if I did, let's say Veterans Day. So you'll see that top one is, it's going to be, again, they've already created this kit for you. So they've got some videos on Veterans Day, an encyclopedia articles, songs, audio, and images. So it's all kind of nicely laid out for you. But what I wanted to show you is if I click on one of these videos, and you'll see that closed captioning is available. And closed captioning, and then if I click on that, I can decide lots of different things about the closed captioning. Sometimes you've got a white background, and so white text doesn't show up, so you can change that if you need to. But when closed captioning is turned on, this is not just helpful for our students with hearing problems. It's helpful for all of our students to see text. And so even if you're not doing anything with it, just having, as you show the video, students seeing the text that goes along with the words that are being said, really at any level, is a helpful tool. So anytime you can turn the closed captioning on, that's really a great thing to do. Just going to check a couple more things. So closed captioning. Okay. So you'll see that the closed captioning is on. And right now it's just music, but anyway. Pretty good little trick. Anytime you can turn closed captioning on, no matter what kind of video you're showing, that's a really good thing to be able to do. It's always good to preview the videos before you show them. They've already been vetted, so they're not going to be inappropriate content. They may be content that's not appropriate for your grade level, or they may just not be appropriate to, not fit the subject that you're teaching the way you thought it would. So it's always good to preview. And I'm going to show you go back to here, and so just so you can see my content, and you kind of did already, but you'll see that you can create folders. And so this is a really nice way to collect the content. And all this is collecting links. So this is not putting them anywhere on your computer. It's just helping you to be able to find them the next time you're doing that unit. And the things that you can do with a folder, again, I can share that folder with my school or my district. So that's a really nice thing for teachers to work together to find good resources for topics that they're teaching. Let's see. And then the other thing I wanted to share was one of the things that was on the blog under Discovery Educator Network. Well, here's a couple things on the Discovery Educator Network. So they have this nice calendar, and on the calendar they have what's coming up. So almost every day there's something going on where you can get content and learn. And if it is like, for instance, this Spotlight on Strategies here, I click on it and it takes me to these archives, but each week they do just this little lesson on how you could use the media products to teach a lesson in a way you might not have thought of using it before. And I actually haven't looked at this one, so I don't know what it is. But anyway, that's a nice way just to get some ideas. There's also on our notes, there's something called 50 Ways to Integrate, and it has a lot of really great ways to use the media in your classroom. So I think I'm going to stop there. There were a couple of questions yesterday when we were doing the webinar, and one of them was when they looked at the students in my classes and for their school, they were off a grade. And so I've talked with Tech about seeing if we can move those students up. It's only really important for the students who have moved to a new school, but if we can get everybody moved up. I thought that had happened earlier this year, but I guess it hasn't. And I believe that was the only question that I haven't answered in the rest of the content. So thank you for watching the archive, and you got the advantage of me already doing this once, so I've thought through some of the things that I did yesterday, and I hope this was helpful, and I hope that you will get in and discover more about Discovery Education.